In a recent poll, I asked you guys, do you think the World Cup will have any influence on the market value of soccer cards? In this video, I'm going to share with you the poll results as well as share my own thoughts on this. Let's get into this. All right, so from the poll, 27% of you said yes, this will be a big one for soccer cards. 33% said yeah, I think it'll increase the values a bit. 26% said I think it might have short spike here and there, but that's all. And 15% said no, it won't affect it at all. So about 85% did say that the World Cup would affect it in some way, either short term or long term. So that's a pretty large number. I do think it will affect it in some ways, but I just think it's going to be a small thing at this point. I think in the future, I've talked about in previous videos how I think the international sports card market is going to continue to increase. And as it continues to increase, I do think soccer card values will also be part of that process. But I don't necessarily think that there's enough hype behind it, the cards specifically, yet for it to affect, for the World Cup to affect it too much. I think it'll have some short-term spikes. I think there'll be some prospecting. You could see how, because of hype, certain things like F1 gets a spike for a little while and then kind of evens off. I think there will be some movement. I do think there will be some movement with the soccer card world, with soccer just being in people's minds a bit more actively. You can see how when things get into people's minds more, it does affect things. F1 was affected because of that documentary, and then a narrative that starts to kind of be weaved around it. After that documentary, it did cause things to happen for a period of time in that realm. And I think that kind of thing happens at different times. And so now with the World Cup being in people's minds, it will happen again in some way. I don't think we're strong enough as an international, the main places where soccer is most popular and sports cards are also popular, like Europe, for example. It's the sports card world is not strong enough there yet, I think, to sustain long-term sustained kind of growth in the soccer card market. I think it's enough for a bit of a spike for a little while, like an F1 kind of thing, but not more than that yet. In the future, I think that could change. I mean, it's what the next World Cup, it could be a totally different situation at that time. That's just for right now. But I do think it will increase in the short term a little bit. Part of it, because a lot of the values of cards is reflected on the interest in the U.S. market, and the U.S. has been gaining interest in soccer over time slightly, but not deeply. And the U.S. soccer team, though they're better, they've gotten better over the years. They're no longer a laughable team. they're still not like a contender quality team. And so I think that though the U.S. probably won't make it too far into the different rounds here. So I don't think it will really have that much interest in the US. So that's one of the reasons I think it's just going to go up a little bit, and then that's about it. That's for now. But I do think there's possibilities for growth in the soccer card market long term. Because once you get more demand in a sport, then you do see market values increase. And the supply of soccer cards is less than the supply of other sports, but the interest in the sport is higher. And it's higher in places where the sports card market is growing. So I feel like that does mean in the future you could see some real growth in the market values of soccer cards eventually. I just don't think we're there yet. I think that needs some years for sports cards in general to take a deeper root in Europe in particular. China's another place where soccer is popular, but it's not as popular as basketball, and it is the second most popular kind of international sport. But I still think it still needs. I think there's less interest in international soccer than there is in international basketball in China. So I don't think that China's going to be like a catalyst for the growth of the soccer market internationally. I think it's when Europe when the sports card world in Europe becomes bigger is when the World Cup will affect market value of cards more. And I don't think we're there yet. Maybe the next World Cup. Anyway, that's it for this video. Check you in the next one. Peace.